Hello, am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, Anantaji. Today, solutions of week 1 and week 2 assignments were posted on the portal.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not wrong, in the assignment number 2, question number 6 is marked improperly actually.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you once again.
Sir, today assignment 1 and assignment 2 solutions were
Mm-hmm.
provided on the
Mm-hmm.
NPTEL portal.
Mm-hmm.
And I am doubtful about the question number 6 in assignment number 2. That actually was saying in what we can use as keys in the dictionary.
Okay.
And the options were string, list, and one another option was there, and last option was none of these. And the proper answer is string, str. Obviously, we can use string, but not the list and sets.
Yes.
And the answers were marked accordingly. Uh, that string and none both are correct, but none should not be correct.
String and what was correct? I could not.
String and none is given. String and
Only
none is
string is
given as
correct
correct
answer.
Yeah,
answer,
I think only
but
string was
only
the correct
but only
answer.
string should be correct.
Yeah, yeah, I also think so.
Both are correct, I think. The none,
Sir,
the
how?
none is Python object,
None.
not none of these.
Oh,
Kindly clarify me.
yeah. Just a minute. Let
The
me
question both
Yeah,
are.
go
please
back
kindly
to
say the
that
question.
question and let me have a look.
Sir, I do have a doubt regarding third question in week 2, sir.
Okay, okay.
There it is mentioned like create a sequence and then they said increment. But in answers it is like create a sequence by taking that as a step value, that as a increment value.
Okay.
What I did is I first created a sequence and then I incremented the each value by that number.
Uh-huh.
Actually, they didn't mention it clearly.
So you wanted to say that you wanted to increase, I mean, there are two ways you can create a sequence, right? One is how you tell how many number of rows or columns you would need, and then the other one is, I mean, not rows, how many number of elements you would need, then the other is like how many, you tell the spacing and it will do it according to the spacing you give. So, and now can you tell me where exactly are you stuck?
Sir, did you see the third question?
Of which This, I mean, week 3 or
Week
week 2?
2.
Week 2, yes.
Week 2.
Yes, yes. I discussed all of those, I remember, last week. Uh-huh. Let me go back to it and then we can discuss. Also, let me just present my screen as well. Can you share my see my screen? Can you all see my screen just to make sure? Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
then let me go back to the assignment for, I mean, week 2, and I will come to one by one at a time. So Miss Sheetal first asked something. So can you?
Yes, yes,
Yes. So I think
yes.
you're.
It's question number 6. Question number 6, sir. I am
Yes.
saying.
Yes. So yeah, yeah. I think this here also, as I was discussing, I missed out saying about none. So sorry about it. But yes, I think this none refers to this none data type, and it's perhaps is.
So please give me an example how you can use the none as the key in creating the dictionary, sir.
Yes, I have actually myself never used none as a key to a dictionary,
Sir,
and it's.
actually, I am the mentor of NPTEL courses from Gateway Institute of Engineering and Technology,
Mhm.
and I am teaching those students Python and data science, and then students will be doubtful whether I am correct or you are correct, and this will create a confusion. So
Mhm.
kindly clear this doubt.
Yeah,
Have
let
you
me.
ever used or can we use it? Actually, I have checked. It is not possible.
Yeah, let me check. I think I was under
Okay.
the
It is possible. I have used it.
I was under the
If it
impression
is
as well
possible,
that
then provide me the solution so that I can guide students accordingly.
I was under the impression that it might not be possible, but let me check it.
Okay.
Then this.
Kindly check in
It
and
is possible,
if
sir.
needed, then update the answer, please.
Uh-huh. So let me just check this right away. So you can see the
Okay,
screen,
okay,
right?
okay, no
Yeah.
issue.
Let me check it
Yes, I
right away.
yes
So
it is
let's
visible.
yeah, let's create a dictionary. So one, let's create it with one with a string.
String is it possible?
Yes, yes.
It is possible, no issue.
Uh-huh. And
String it is
let's also
possible.
create it.
Only take one element, no need.
So let's just
Okay,
try
no.
it.
Okay.
Uh, so yeah, I see that it just accepts, and I see that it getting
Okay.
created.
This is not the data type basically.
None is a data type. None is a data type, right? Because for example, let's create a. I mean,
And
let's.
and and it is possible to access these two elements using the keys,
Yes,
right?
yes,
We are using dict,
yes. Let me
then
also.
square bracket, then
Let me
ABC.
also change the name to something else so that it doesn't matter. Let me just change the name to this, and let me just do this, and also let me just access each of these elements then. Uh, so you see this one,
And then
and
none.
then none. You see this is possible then.
Okay. And can we use this none two times in the dictionary?
Let's also see that. But I think, let's see. Now when I give none, okay. So it just gives me one element, and
Just a minute, sir. This input 52 is not visible to me actually, na, on my screen.
okay. Let me. Is this now
What
better?
have you done? What have you done? Is it not visible to me?
Is it better?
Sir, is it related to third week?
Yes. Now is it visible? None have been used two
No,
times,
this
but
is
the
not.
last option.
This is not related to third week. This is some uh, doubt people had
Now,
regarding
now, now there is a confusion, sir. Now there
yes.
is a confusion because in keys of a dictionary are distinct,
Hmm.
and there are two nouns used as keys,
Yes,
basically.
and yes, that's I get it.
It
So
although we can use, but it is not the proper appropriate way.
yes, that's true. So,
That's true.
mm, but the thing is, I was just also confused with the thing is that when you give, I mean, none and you give two entries, I just see only one and not two because then which one to choose is the uh,
Yeah, because
uh,
in this way we can't use it properly in our programming also.
yes, yes. I have myself never used it, so I was not. I have never tried it as well. Because it's not the standard way of using it, I guess.
It's not the standard way.
But
So,
it's
sir,
acceptable.
if
But
you
it's
don't
acceptable.
mind, kindly frame the questions
I actually
for
don't frame
updated,
these.
please.
I actually don't frame these questions. I just get these questions, and my job is to just discuss
Okay,
whatever questions that is being set,
okay,
and
sir. No issue.
so I just try my best to
If
just.
if it is possible, actually my students are getting 100 out of 100 in the first assignment, and if they are getting 95 out of 100 in the second assignment, they are a little bit disappointed.
Mhm.
So, if possible, if you can update the question
No, I
or
actually,
recorrect
and
it, then
I
please
don't
do.
think the question is wrong in a sense that you cannot use none as a dictionary, as a key in the dictionary, because certainly you can
Yeah.
use none as a key in the dictionary,
Okay.
but how exactly you can use that is now something that has not been discussed actually in the lecture series. I agree with you.
Okay. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you very much. That was only doubt from
Yeah,
my
for
side.
example,
I'll keep that.
let's also try this. So your type is, you see, it's vowels
Yeah,
is none,
it's
and
none type, no issue.
now if I just try this as well, I think the same would happen. And yeah, if I now if I dicto, yeah. Anyways, I think I was partially able to clear the doubt. Okay. Someone also had some other doubt regarding another
So
question.
third question.
Yes, yes,
Thank
yes.
you very much, sir.
Yeah, yeah. You're welcome. And you can also feel free to call me by my first name. I am Alankar. I am a
Okay,
graduate
okay,
student
Mr.
from
Omkar, thank you
IIS.
very much. Thank you.
Sir,
Third question in week 2, sir.
Right. Yeah.
Sir, there it is given like create a sequence of numbers from 15 to 25
Right.
and increment by 4.
Yes.
That means we have to create a sequence
Mm-hmm.
and then we should increment that by 4.
Right.
That's it, right?
Yes. Sure. So now it is asking, the question is asking is that what's the index of your 90 of your element 19. So if you start by 15, then your first element is 15 and the second element is 19, right? So the index of your element 19 is 1, right?
Yes, sir. But we can understand this question in some other ways.
Oh,
First, we should create a sequence from 15 to 25,
okay.
and then we should increment the each element by 4. Then,
Yes.
in
So
that case, the first element will be 19, right?
first element will be 15, right? Because you are starting from
First element is 15.
first element will be 15.
No, sir. First, create a sequence from 15 to 25, sir.
So yes, so the first element will be 15, right? You are creating a sequence from 15 to 25.
Yes, sir. Now we increment the each element by 4, sir.
Yes,
Now then,
so you are starting from 15 and incrementing it by 4, right? I don't see any problem with that. You
no,
start.
sir.
Sir, I think he's
What I-
adding 4 to each element.
Yes, sir. That's what I am
Yes,
saying.
yes, you can add 4 to each element, but as a question says that you should start from your element 15, right? Create a sequence of numbers from 15 means you start from 15 and go
Yes,
till
sir.
25 by an increment of 4. So this would
Yes,
correspond
sir.
to
The The question not mentioned in that way, sir. They said first we should create a sequence, and then they said that we should increment the value by 4. But they didn't mention that create a sequence by incrementing the value by 4.
I don't know as far as I was able to understand with uh, whatever English I know, I thought that this would be starting from 15 and ending at 25 by an increment of 4. So I thought that this is like 15, 19 and sorry 15, 25 and 4. That's all I thought this should be.
Excuse me, sir. If the sequence goes from like 15 to 25 as 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19, and if we add like 4 to each element, the resulting sequence will be 19, 20, and so on.
Right.
19, 20, 21, and so on. So, how will be the question in that case? Like, how can it be framed?
So this is.
Yes,
sorry, one second. Come up with it.
If we write the sequence as from 15 to 25 as 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 till 25, and add 4 to each of the elements, my resultant sequence will be 19, 20, 21, and so on. So how will the question framed in that case?
Yes, sir. How will the question be asked in that case?
Okay, then that would be create a sequence from 15 to 25 and then add 4 to every element.
Increment also. Increment also it means the same.
Create a sequence with an increment of 4.
They didn't mention with, sir. With or by they didn't mention. They said end. End means first we have to create the sequence and then we should increment the every element by 4.
Yeah, I thought that this is what they meant by my understanding of the, as far as my understanding of the question goes. But yeah, you can perhaps. I guess then this is just rather than computer programming. This is rather than an issue of English, and I think, or a language. I think you should, if you think that this is not the right way of asking it, then I would encourage you to put this up with the people who are making these questions or NPTEL people, because I just get, as I was saying, I just get these questions and try my best to just discuss whatever I think is right.
Okay, sir. Where should I raise the question?
I think you can raise this issue with NPTEL people. They are going to help you out, the NPTEL admins, regarding issue with this question.
Yes, sir. How can I contact the NPTEL people? That's what
I don't exactly know the email IDs, but okay. I will then go and I will just let you know if you are not sure of whom to ask, because all the instructions which I get is, I even don't have any talk with the instructors of this course. All I get is these questions, just like you guys, and I just go through the questions, go through the videos, and try to answer them and help you all. That's all from my part. So I would also then look through this and let you know if I can come across something where you can contact, and meanwhile you can also look at. Someone has also asked that support at IITM is the part where you can look up. So yeah, you can use the forum as well. Someone has pointed out in the chat. Thanks for that.
Sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
I wanted to ask that week 3 assignment we are till Sunday I will complete it, because I was listening some lectures are remaining due to our campus training point. So it is okay, no?
Yeah, again, I am not aware of the more the specific diagnostics of and logistics of the things. So yeah, you should perhaps talk with someone else who is.
And we are discussing week 2 part, no, now today in this part, lecture part.
We wanted to do, I wanted to start with week 3, but some people had doubt with week 2, so I was just going back to week 2 and discussing a little bit about it. That's all. But I'll start week 3 right away in a while, like 2 or 3 minutes, unless people have any questions back from week 1 or week 2.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes,
sir,
yes.
I have tried
Yeah,
to
by the
use
way, you
true
all
and
can call me
false as.
Alankara by my first name. No issue. No need to call me sir. Yeah, please go ahead. Akash Lohani. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, I have used true and false as keys of a dictionary, and it is taking its means it is taking it as a key, and also we can use true two times or false two times.
Yeah, just like
But
none, I
the
guess.
but the contradicting thing is that when we check the size of the dictionary, it is taking true value only one time and false value only one time.
Yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah.
if we use none
I get
two
it. I
times, it
get
is
it.
taking one time.
I get it. What's happening? So what's happening is that it is getting replaced. Okay. Yeah, I get it. What's happening? So, for
Also,
example,
sir, I would like to add that a key should be unique in case of a dictionary. So, how is it like possible for a dictionary to like take two keys and with the same values?
yeah, the thing is that it automatically, I mean, the key remains only one key and not two keys because it gets replaced. So whenever you give two entries, for example, as there was the case with none, you give none colon. Let me just show you what I mean. So when you create something like this, what happens is that none colon 2 and you give a none colon 8. What happens is that only the last one which you give is the one which survives. So for example, if I do this and give a dicto, what you get is none colon 8 and none colon 2 is not there, right? You understand what I'm saying? Similarly, you can also give something like a true colon 25 and like a none uh, colon let's say 100. So what you will get at the end of it is true and this will be accepted, but only the last one is the one which survives and the rest are, it's like getting overwritten. So what you give at the end, if you give a dicto, you will just get none 100 because this is the last one where you have changed none, and true 25 because this is the last one where you have changed it, and rest all the intermediates doesn't survive because they are always getting replaced. So it always has unique keys and not overlapping keys. I think this is clear, isn't it?
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so this is the issue, I guess. So I also, like, I was instructed to regarding assignment 3, I was instructed to only discuss the previous year's questions and not the questions for this year. So that's what I'll be doing right now, but we can discuss again, go back to assignment 3 and discuss it the next time when we meet for assignment for week 4. So this is what I was instructed. So I will just go back to the previous year's questions which are similar to this year's but not exactly the same, and one by one discuss them. Okay. So the first question says that there is a data file called brand.csv, and in that data file, this is kind of the data which there is, and then it asks that if you want to look at the data and which is the following command is the right instruction to create a brand with 4 separate columns. So as you can see here, the right answer is answer B and answer D. And why is that so? Is that it's because if you there is only one header in here, which is this the brand type, cost, price. This is the header, so you need to have header equals to 1, and if you want to read it as a table, you have to provide that your delimiter,
क्या
which is the separation between them to
नहीं
be
बिल्कुल ठीक है वो से होगा
yeah. So if you were to have a separation, you need to tell that the separation between all the data is comma, and yeah, and that's all. So when you want to read a table, you know that your separation is comma and that you have to explicitly mention. Otherwise, you have to just load the data in as a CSV, because CSV automatically knows that your separation is column, and so you don't need to give a delimiter. So the right answer is therefore B and D is the right answer, because you already have one header and that you need to specify.
Sir, actually, what is the denoted the delimiter?
or what is the role of the delimiter?
Okay. So what happens is that you can have data in a file where each data is separated by some character. This can be space, this can be tab, and this can be comma as well. So in CSV file is a special kind of file where all the different, the data for the different cells or different columns are separated by a comma. So you can also have data for different cells separated by space, or you can have data for different columns separated by a comma, right? So depending upon what character you have as a delimiter, you have to supply that delimiter as an argument. But for a CSV file, the default delimiter is comma, because as the name suggests, it's a comma separated file, CSV file. And so when you use read underscore CSV, it automatically knows what the delimiter is, so you don't have to explicitly say that. But when you want to use read underscore table, you will have to mention what the delimiter is, and that's what you have to use. So that's the difference. And
okay, sir. But file format is the text, then I can use the delimiter.
Yes, for text files also you can use delimiter, and you have to specify. For example, in your text file, if you have something which is separated by a space, then you have to say that it's separated by a space. You got it, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. By the way, again, you can call me by my first name. I am Alankar. I am a graduate student at IISc. Okay. So going to the second question. Let's see. Okay. So which is the right instructions? Okay. So in the above same file above, which parameter pt.read CSV will load the data frame with the selected columns as shown below. So we want to select, as you can see, this data has 1, 2, 3, 4. This data has 4 columns, but we want to select only 2 columns. So which of these will be used? So we will use calls. So what use calls will do is we'll just use those columns and skip the rest of the columns. And skip rows is obviously is for skipping rows, which we don't need. So as the answer says here, that let's see next. Yeah, here it is. So as it says here, use calls brand and price. So what this will do is that it will use only brand and price, and so therefore you'll get the output as desired. But for the other cases, you will not. You will not be able to select the columns, right? So skip rows will be just skipping the rows, and yeah. Okay, so weather.xls. So this is an Excel sheet, and from the data from the Excel sheet, it reads something. So yes, so what it says that from the file weather.xlsx has to be loaded into Pandas data frame tf_weather, which is then printed as shown below. So here it is. Of the following statements, which of them can be used to move the column direction into a separate data frame? So you want to create a new Pandas data frame, which would be called direction, and there are basically 2 ways to do that, and this is what is discussed in this question. As you can see here, first df weather itself is a Pandas data frame, so it has 1, 2, 3, 4. It has 4 columns and 4 entries for each of these. There are 4 entries, right? The direction of the wind, the temperature, wind speed, and humidity, and these are the different things. So to create a new data frame, there are 2. You have to include direction itself in a box bracket. So that's why option A, which puts direction as a box bracket, and option C, which also creates direction as a box bracket, are the one which creates a new Pandas data frame, while the rest 2 does not. And you can see it from here as well. So df_dir is the variable, and df_weather direction, the first one, option A. And here you see that if you just print this, what you get is a new Pandas data frame which has only 1 column and all the row entries corresponding to that particular column. And the object data type is a Pandas data frame, as you can see here, class pandas.code.frame.data frame. So this shows that it is a Pandas data frame Whereas in the second one, only gives you the column. It doesn't give you, see the direction is missing. So it just only gives you the data values and not the data frame itself. And so it's also you see that it's an object of the class series. So it's a series. Similarly, if you do this thing which is lock, so what this will do is it will just get to that location and give you all the rows corresponding to direction and create a new data frame for you, and which is what you see in option D. And again, you see the type is a data frame itself, while for the option D, you see it just gives you whatever you have at location at column 0, which is your first column. So again, it's a data series, so it is also not the right option to choose. So this is it for this question. Let's go to the next one, which says that, I think this one, yeah. Referring to the same data frame tf underscore weather in question 3, which statement will help you to print the last row in the data frame? So you want to access the last row. So to access the last row, the one you have to do is either head minus 1 or tail 1. So head minus 1 is like other way of calling head. So head, but you want to go and access the last one, right? So here is what it's saying. You have something like head minus 1, and what it says is that, okay, retrieves all the rows except the last row. So what this head minus 1 will do is it will give you everything, but since you have given minus 1, so it will go till the last row but not include the last row. So you will get everything. I mean, there were 4 entries and you got only 3 for this. Tail 1 is obviously what you will need to get the last one. 2 colon 3 is what it will give. It will just give you the third element, which is I think the second last, yes, which is north 35. Yeah, so this is the second last thing, while the last one, which
Sir,
yes, please go ahead.
Sir, in option, we take the head
You can call me
in parentheses.
You can call me by my first
Head
name.
in my.
There's no need to call me sir.
Okay. Actually, sir, I am also student from graduation 3rd year.
Yeah. So you can call me by my first name. No need to call me sir. Anyways.
Okay. In option, syntax is head in parentheses -1, but we actual outcome gets the first 3 records.
Yes. So what?
Please explain is
yes.
why we get the first 3 records.
Yes. What happens is in head, what you give is you give head and you tell how many elements from the top you wanna show, right? If you give head 3, it will just tell you it will just show you the first 3 elements. Head 4 will tell you first 4 elements. Similarly, if you give head -1, what this will do is it will show you all the elements till -1. -1 is the last, so till the last. So if you give head -2, it will show you all the elements till the second last. So it will not show you the last and the second last. So this is one way of also calling head. Did you get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, so this is it. So yeah, so let's go to then the next question if no one has any doubt in this. In reference to the same temperature, same data frame tf underscore weather, we add an additional column hot day to determine whether the days is hot or not based on the values in the temperature column. What will this print statement derive? So you see what this does is np.where will tell you compare your data frame, which is temperature. So you see if you look at your data, it will look through the column of temperature, so which is this second column. So it will give you a series which has the values 49, 54, 35 and 42. Now what np.where will do is it will it will compare it with 40, and wherever it's greater than 40 it will give you true, and wherever it's less than 40 it will give you false. And what I can do is I can just show that to you. Let me just quickly copy this. Let me just quickly copy this thing, the data itself, then it will be easy to show you that 49, 54, 35, 42. Okay. So is 49, then I have 54, then I have 35 and 42. Okay. So let me create an array called temperature. And let me create a numpy array like this. And once I have this numpy array, I'll just do an np.where, just like the code has done. Except that I am not using Pandas data frame just to make this quickly and just show the point. And I will have something like a 40, and I think there was an entry like true and entry.
So can you please zoom the screen?
Yes, somehow I'm not able to just exactly zoom this screen. For example, on the left screen I'm able to zoom it, but somehow I'm not able to zoom this. Yeah, sorry about it.
Okay.
No, in fact, you can zoom it from your computer itself. On the mouse pad, you expand your. On the mouse pad, you expand.
Yeah. I was able to do it. Okay, thanks. Is it better now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so what you see here is it creates a new array where temperature greater than 40 is set to true and temperature less than 40 is set to false, right? And here, and then what happens is obviously you see that 49, which is greater than 40, and 54, these are set to true and the other is set to false, right? For example, you can even try something else, like you can try this as, say, let's see if this happens, if this works also or not. You can try this as let's see, 1 and this as 0. So you see it creates everywhere which is greater than 40 is 1 and less than 40 is 0. So this is what where does. It just replaces wherever the condition that you give is satisfied by the first element that you give, and wherever this condition is not satisfied by the other element you give. So if you go back to this question and look at this, what this does is it asks for where temperature greater than 40, where is it, and then it tries to access the third element. So third element was the one where we have, I think, lower temperature in here, which is false, right? 0, 1, 2. So it accesses the third element, and which is hot day to third element, and you will have false. So the right answer is false because the temperature is 35, so it will return false. That's what this is saying.
Yeah, Alankar, one question I have here.
Yes. Sure.
See, couple of times I tried this np.where, okay, on the data frame. But I used to get an error. It doesn't read data frame when we do np.array. It says that you have to have a array or a series data to operate to perform np.where.
Yes.
Is it like that?
Yes. So what kind of data are you using on np.where?
It's like a mix of both numbers and strings.
You cannot compare strings, right? How are you able to compare strings?
No. What I'm saying, the data frame what I have is a mix of columns. Okay. In columns we have a string as well as numbers. Okay. But I am performing np.array on a column which has a property only with numbers.
Okay. Then I think you will be able to do this. Can you share the specific code snippet with me? After it will be I think a longish thing to just discuss directly here. If you send a code snippet to me, I can share I'm sharing my email over chat, and then we can discuss that accordingly.
Okay, fine. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I have shared my email over chat. You can send me a code snippet, then I can specifically go to it, and then we can discuss it. But I think you can, as long as you have a series, whether it's a Panda series or whatever, which is a number, you can, and which basically on which you can do logical operations, then you can use np.where. Okay.
But if the column has a mix of string, has a column number and string, then np dot where will not work. Am I right?
Yes. If it has a mix of strings and numbers, then I mean strings you cannot compare with directly with anything, right? So you need to have something like you have to replace your strings with something else, or you have to skip those depending upon what exactly you want to do. You have to do that. But yeah, as far as your specific concern goes, if you want more help, then you just share me the code snippet over email, then I can have a brief look at it and let you know if I get something. Okay. Let me go to this. Okay, so what this says is that what statement would give the number of columns in the data frame df. So if you want to know the number of columns in your data frame df, there are like different things. So for example, option A is going to tell you df.columns is just shows you all the columns in your data. So if you, for example, have a pandas data like this, which is here, then if you give df.columns, all this will show you is direction, temperature, wind speed, and humidity. It will show you an array of all the column names that you are having. And now if you give where is that? If you give len df.columns, it will tell you how many columns you have. So then df.columns basically creates an array or a list where you have all the name of all the columns, and then len is going to tell you, just count the elements of there and will tell you how many columns you have. Len df will just give you the size of the entire all the number of elements, while it will just give you how many number of not elements, sorry, it will just give you how many number of rows you have if you just give a len df. And if you just give df.size, then what it will do is it will tell you a number of all the elements. So if you say have four columns and four rows each column, then the number of elements is 4 times 4, which is 16, so it will just return you 16. So the right answer here is A, which because you want to know how many columns you have in your data. Okay, let's see the next question. File students.csv contains the attendance and total scores of 3 separate students. This data is loaded into a data frame df_study, and a pandas cross tab is applied to the same data frame in the following output. Okay, which student has the maximum score in all the 3 subjects? Which subject has the best score? Which student scored the maximum average score of all 3 subjects? Which student has the best average score for all 3 students? Okay, so if you look at here, the question says that which student scored the maximum average score in all the 3 subjects. So you want to just find out the average in here and just do the maths, and you'll get it. I think this is pretty self-explanatory in a sense that you just have to do the maths and just get this. Okay, I think let me go to something more related to plots if there are some, because I want to discuss that. The following histogram shows the number of books read in a year. Find the mean and median in the above histogram. Okay, so here.
So please repeat the question number 7.
Sorry. Yes, please go ahead.
Please repeat the question number 7.
Yes. The question number 7 just says that you want to find out who scored the average, highest average of all the 3 subjects, and which subject has the average score, has the best average score for all the 3 students. So you can just you have the data and you just can use the different stuffs in here. From the data you can just find out what this is, right? So I just skip through this because you just have to you use this data, put these numbers in, and use this data to find the proper answer, right? So you have to for the first case you have to find out average across the rows, and the second case you have to find out average across the columns. That's all.
Okay, okay.
So one is saying that which student has scored the maximum, best average. So you have to do average across the rows because the student is across the rows, and then the next is who has the highest average across the subjects. So you have to do an average across the columns and find out the best average. That's all. Here this question says that the following histogram shows the number of books read in a year. Find the mean, mean and median in the above histogram. I think this would have been better if some data was given that just or some plotting stuff was given to plot directly. But okay, anyways, the question says that 8 is the central tendency for the above histogram. It is the mean, median, and mode. So for this patient case, you see the 8. This 8 is where your histogram peaks. So obviously it is the mode of your histogram. However, when you have the data, you can use, for example, NumPy functions just to get, say, if you have a series, but they have not provided.
Actually, data follows the normal distribution.
Yes. But what I was saying is that if you had that, if they had provided the data then as a series, which they have used to make this plot, then you could have used something like the NumPy functions to get the specific values like the mean, median, and mode. But for the specific case, as far as this question is concerned, you can just get it visually just by looking at the plots. Here you see this 8 here, which is the position where your distribution peaks, and this is where you have your mean, I mean the mode. Also the mean is where your average is, and since this is kind of symmetric distribution, then obviously your mean is also 8 and your median is also 8, because again the symmetry tells you that the mean and median both are 8, and it is also the 8 is also the place where your distribution peaks, so the mode is also 8. So this is what it is. But had they provided the data for it, then you could have put the data in and the series which it has used to make this plot, and then you can use the NumPy functions like mean, median, and mode to get the values exactly. Anyways, for the following box plot, which among the following given plots the mean are the median and the outlier? So you see the median is between 20 and 25, and so 22 is the median. So here you see this is kind of a data which is it shows the spread of it, and you see that the median is between 20 and 25 because this is where you are, right at the center, as it says that median is like the 50 percentile, if you wish, of your data, and that is between 20 and 25, as you can see from this plot itself. And the outlier is obviously here, which is way outside what your data range suggests. So this is this blue dot, which is way outside your data range, is your outlier. And so which are the median and the outlier? So obviously your median is between this 20 and 25, so your option B, which says that 22, which is this, is your median, and your outlier is obviously 52. 15 is not your median because 15 is where is 25, I think the first quartile, so it's a 25 percentile. Then Q2 is, I think, the 50 percentile, and Q3 is the 75 percentile. So these are the quartiles which they have given. Okay. Attendance logs. Okay. Our data frame df underscore logs has the following data. All nan or null values in column C1 can be replaced by 0 by executing which one of the following columns. Okay, so there was this thing which was told quite a. Sorry.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Regarding missing data.
Yes, please go ahead.
I have a data that is some missing values in it. And when I plot some graph to the other column, how can I reconstruct these value using this graph?
So what you yeah, when you are plotting, what happens is that you have to give your, say you have data x and data, like you have to plot x versus y, and the size of both of your data
I have
must be must
positive relationship.
yes, the size of, I mean the size of x and size of y has to be the same. And what will happen is that if you are missing data, you say in x you are missing data or in y you have missing data, then it will not match. So there is something called you can something called an np.delete, which you can use to delete the specific places. So one way is just you can delete the points where you have things missing. So you create a new array where you have got rid of the points where the data is missing, either in x or in y, and use that for plotting. So I think that's the best way, but there can be other ways of doing it. So one way I do personally is that when I have some arrays and I have some data missing or some problematic data, I just get rid of those data specific indices where this happens, and also get, say in x I have some problems, so I get rid of those problematic indices, and I also get rid of same indices in y as well. And
So instead of getting rid of these data, can we? Is there any way to get reconstruct this data?
yeah, getting rid means you are I mean that's what I'm saying, you are just reconstructing a new array where you do not have this data, problematic data present. Do you mean by that reconstructing, or you mean something else? Sorry, what do you mean by reconstructing?
By like my relation between A and B column is that when A goes up and B is also going up, so I cannot um, particularly make those column those missing values according to this relation.
I mean, you just what you do is you just select, first find out the indices which you want to get rid of, and you can use something like for example, if you have NaN values, so there is something like an isNaN which you can use. As far as, for example, in NumPy there is something like an isNaN which you can use, and it will give you the NaN values which are there, and you can get rid of the NaN values. So you get the indices where the NaN values are there, and you get rid of those. This is what you can do, and create a new data when you have gotten rid of those particular values, and then use that for plotting. That's what I'm saying. But you do also get rid of the same data in your y as well. So that's how you reconstruct a new array where you do not have the previous points which were missing. Did you get it?
Sir,
Okay.
will you show the weather problem and the student CVC problem once again?
Yes, sure. This one? This one? Is it this one you're saying?
Extracting the column direction, sir.
I mean, there are quite a few weather problems. Can you tell me?
Yes, sir. This one.
This one, okay. Yeah. Now, please ask what's the problem you are having.
Okay. Which are the correct answers, sir?
So the correct answer is this first one and the third one.
First one and third one.
Because
okay,
you have a box bracket along direction. So whenever you give a data name along with a box bracket with the data, I mean the column name itself, then it creates a new.
Yeah. Like that we can extract.
Yes, not only extract, that's how you create a new Pandas data frame. Otherwise, a new Pandas data frame won't be created. It just will extract data from there. To create a new data frame where you will also have the header information. It's just like from one spreadsheet you want to create another spreadsheet, but only a part of the spreadsheet is there. That then you use this. But if you just want to get the data from one particular column, then you use option 2 or option 3. option 4, sorry. Option 2 and option 4, what it will do is just it will give you the values for particular column. But what option 1 or option 2 does, it creates a new data frame which is a subset of the original large data frame.
Yes, sir. So the next one in student.cvc,
Drop out
the highest marks, that one is, sir.
Yes, this one, right. So this, what this says is that among all the subjects, which subject is having the highest average, and among all the students who is having the highest average. So in one case you have to find the highest average across the rows, and the other case you have to find the highest average across the columns.
Yes, sir. Best average score means how can we identify, sir?
Best average score, it's the best average score, right? The highest average across subjects, so that will be along the rows and columns, and the highest average across the person will be along the rows.
Yes, sir.
Maybe you have to use that cross tab function,
Yes.
and in that you have an option of column and rows.
Exactly.
And once you select column and row, it gives you an
In this sheet here mentioned Reha 92, Reha Maths 85.
Yeah. For example, you can do this in two different ways. Cross tab is, as someone was saying, cross tab was one way. You can do it in using Pandas, or you can also do it using NumPy, just loading the data, and you can do something like a np.average, and then you give along which direction you want to do, and then it will find the average along rows or along columns. So if you want to know who has the which person has the highest average, you have to average along the rows, and if you want to know which person has the which subject has the highest average, then you have to average along the columns. Did you get that?
Sir.
Did you get that?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Did you get that? Why is that so? Did you get that? Why is that so? Mr. Satyanarayana, did you get that? Why is that so?
Sir?
Did you get that? Why is that so?
Yes, sir, you are adequate, sir. I understand the answers you have explained.
Did you get that? Like why you have to do it along the rows, and why for another case you have to do it along the columns? Can you explain?
So the one student is having more average marks in all subjects, sir, compared to the remaining three.
Yes.
That is Reha. When we average the marks in mathematics, she had almost near to average marks, 85, sir. Is it correct, sir? What my explanation?
No. The thing is that you have to see, like there are 3 students, and you have to find out the average marks which each student has got across all the subjects. So for example, what is the average marks which the first student has got in all the 3 subjects? So you add, for example, if you want to find out for the first student, you have to add the marks got by the first student, which is 90 plus 94 plus 83. These are the marks got by the first student, right?
Yes.
So you have to average over 90, 94 and 83 and see what's the average of 90, 94 and 83. So this is the average marks got by the first student. Similarly, the average marks got by the second student is the average of 92, 84, 5 and 95. Similarly, the average marks got by the third student is 74, 84 and 81, right?
Yes, sir.
So this all these averages are done along the rows because you are doing it for each and every student, right? And once you have got that, you find out of these 3 averages who has the highest average, right? So that's why I'm saying you have to average along the rows. Similarly, for each subject, now you forget about the students. You are saying that in each subject across all the 3 students, who has got which subject is having the highest average across all the students. So as to know that in which subject the students are performing better compared to the other subjects. So for example, in chemistry, you add the marks got by the first student, the second student and the third student, which is 90, 92 and 74. And you want to find out what's the average marks obtained by considering all the students. Similarly, what's the average marks obtained by considering all the students in maths is the average of 94, 85 and 84, which is the second column. And similarly in physics, it's 83, 95, and 81, which is the third column. So now you average across the columns, right? And then the average will give you what's the average marks in chemistry, what's the average marks in maths, and what's the average marks in physics, considering all the students. And now you say which subject has got the highest average,
Yes.
and that's why you have to do it along the columns.
Yes. Reha has highest score, and all the students have highest score in mathematics, sir.
Exactly. And the reason is that averaging across the rows gives the highest average comes for the second student, while averaging across the columns, the highest average comes from the second column.
Second. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So let me then go to the last question. Okay. So what this is saying is that you have to replace the 0 by in columns. So all the NaN values in column C1 can be replaced by 0 by executing which of the following commands. So this is the question, and you can see the answer here is A. So you see that what this is doing is fill NA. So this is like if NaNs, you fill that NaN, and this is column C1, so this is C1, and fill NaN and in place is true. So what this is doing is that filling C1 with zeros. So similarly df.logs fill NA 0, comma in place is true. What this is doing is this will not only fill C1, but it will fill other NaNs with 0 as well. And this is what you see, that the other values are also filled with 0, but in the first case only the C1 is filled with 0. While in place equals to false, if you give in place equals to false, then df logs won't be changed, it will create a new data frame. So this is also not the right option, and none of the data was changed. And then option D, what was it? B1, so it just fills B1. So option D says that with C1, I mean logs.c1 fill NA, logs B1 fill dot NA, logs B1 equals to true. And what this is doing is that let me see. This will not actually fill your will not touch any of your stuff in C1, but it will touch your stuffs in B1 for sure. And let's see, the column C1 gets null values replaced.
Sir, I think it will give error.
No, it will not give error, but what this says is that column C1 null values get replaced by column B1 values. Okay, I got it. So what this is saying is that the null values in column B1 will be column C1 will be replaced by the values of column B1. But since B1 already had I mean all the values, if you see here the original data, all the values of none, I mean then these are just the wherever the C1 is having a value of none, it is just replaced it with I mean 2.0, 3.0. I mean you see that the places where your C1 has none values, NaN values, they were replaced by the values of B1, because you have given log C1. You have to look at it from left to right. So when you have log C1 dot fill NA, so it will, what it says that you choose the C1 column and fill the NAs with whatever values of logs B1 is there, not with 0. Instead of giving 0, what it is saying is that you use the values of log B1 to fill them. So what this means is that if you look at this column and you have this array B1 and you want to say that in B1 you replace whatever wherever places, C1, sorry, you start with C1. So since your left is C1, you first choose C1, and you want to say that you want to replace all the NaNs in C1 with whatever values of B1 is there. So what this will effectively do is that it will copy everything of B1 back to C1, because all the values of C1 is NaN, and wherever the value of C1 is NaN, it replaces it with the value of B1. Did you get it? So as far as this question is concerned, the only option to just replace all the values of C1 with nan is all the nans of C1 with 0 is A and not anything else. While what the last option, obviously the B and C, as I explained, is not going to do anything. There is this is a bit difficult command, which is D. What this means is that you want to replace everything in your C1, every nans in your C1 to whatever corresponding value there in B1 is. And since everything in C1 is nan, so it copies everything from B1 to C1. So B1 and C1 rows become identical. And this is what happens in here. I think this concludes.
Alankar?
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, I have a question regarding the
So
importing
what's
data
the meaning
using
of in
UCI
place
library.
true?
Sorry, I got.
Do you also know, sir, that when we import data from UCI,
When you import data from? Sorry, when you import data from? Sorry. I think he got disconnected. Someone else was also asking something.
Sir?
Yes, please ask.
yes, sir, I was asking about UCI library.
Which library?
UCI machine learning library.
Okay, I have
So
not
when we
personally
import
used it
data from
myself. Yeah, but please ask. If I know it, then I can answer.
when we import data from UCI library, the most of the data is unlabeled, and there is a file name C45 names. How is there any function in Pandas so we can extract labels from the C45 names file?
Yeah, I directly can't say that. I have never used like Pandas very extensively for tasks like this, but if you can again share me the files with which you want to exactly do it, or some representative files which may not be large and you can share it, then I will look at it and let you know.
Yes, I
Just drop
shared
me
in
an
the
email.
chat box.
Yeah, drop me an email and then I'll look at it.
Sir,
Yes,
can you tell the name of the function to stack data frames vertically, sir?
Name of the functions to stack?
Data frames vertically, sir. Function, Panda function.
What do you mean by stack data frames vertically? You mean to add more and more rows?
Yes, sir. Vertically, sir. To stack the data frame vertically, sir.
So you mean to add more and more rows?
Can we use the PD dot merge, sir?
There is something called insert where you can add more columns. And do you mean to add more rows by vertically? You mean?
The question is like this, sir. Which Panda function is used to stack data frames vertically?
So by vertically, do you mean adding rows? I believe.
Yes, sir, maybe, sir. Not no correct now, but the question is like that. That's why I'm asking, sir.
Okay, so I think you will just have to use the standard Panda function for just adding rows. Let me also copy this link.
Yeah, options they are given PD dot merge, PD dot concat, join, none of the above.
Merge is an easier option to use. In merge, you can give both column and rows. In what way you want to join the data frame, you can define in merge. You want to join column-wise data frame, or you want to join a data frame row-wise. That is possible in merge. Join is also better, but merge is much easier.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So I think that's it for today. If no one else has any questions, then we can wrap up.
Sir,
Yes, yes.
that last question answer was option B, no?
Which one? This the last one which I discussed today.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
This only. That man one.
Yes, this is option A.
No, no, not that. Last question was there, no, NAN. This. A1, B1, C1.
Yes, this one. So this is not the right option. I was just telling what this command is actually doing.
Okay, the answer is option D means.
Answer is option A.
Okay.
Because you are looking at C1 and you just want to fill all the nans with C1 with zeros. I was just trying to explain what option D does, because it's a longish kind of a statement. So I just wanted to make clear that what this means.
Okay.
Excuse me, Alankar.
Yes, please go ahead.
Can you explain the ninth question? Because I got disconnected.
Yes, sure. The ninth question is like just visually tries to, you are asked to identify what is the median and what is the outlier. So you see that they have given like the quartiles, which is Q1, Q2 and Q3. So your Q2 is the the 50% quartile, so which is kind of your, that by definition is the median. So somewhere between 20 and 25, so which is 22, and your outlier is this blue dot far away from all your data points. So this is 52. So it just gives you a hang of this terms which used in data analysis, like quartiles, percentiles, outliers. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay then.
Alankar, there is any group for the students who is doing this course as a separate group where people can chat and discuss the questions?
I saw there is one group from where I get announcements for like discussions which will be, the time that from this to this day there will be a session. But I am not sure whether that Google group is up for is a place where people can also put in discussions or not. Let me check and I'll clarify that in the next meeting.
Alankar, I have some questions which are like out of this subject. I am working on some other project, so there I have a lot of questions. So maybe I wanted to take help of group to get some ideas, and maybe a person like you can also help me. So like for that, I wanted to have like a kind of a group where I can post my questions.
I will check that whether this particular forum has any Google group or not. And if that is so, then I'll share that info in the next meeting. And if not, then if you have any specific doubt right away, you can send me an email and I'll respond to that.
Okay.
I've shared my email in the chat. I'll resharing it again.
Yeah, I noted down your email. You have already given your email in the chat. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I think then we can wrap it up. And bye everyone. It was a nice session.
Sir, this session is available?
Yes, I'll be uploading this on YouTube, so you can look it up in about 1 or 2 days. It will be live.
Is it in NPTEL website, SWAYAM website?
I don't know whether they will upload this or not, but what I was asked is to upload this on YouTube and share the link with them. And I'm not sure whether they would upload this finally or not.
YouTube, where we can find them?
Okay, let me check. I have a link to it. I'll share it right away in the chat.
Sir, we can find it in the problem solving sessions.
And
in the module only, there is one separate
so I'm sharing
tab.
one link. So this hopefully you will be able to get it. Okay, now this is, let me go into it. Yeah, this is one of the videos which I was there, and I have made a playlist which I have also shared with them. So okay, yes. So sorry, I was not asked to. I was asked specifically not to discuss questions from the current week's assignment from for that particular week. We can discuss it the next week, and so on. Anyways, it was a nice session. Uh, Thanks for the questions. We can uh, end the session here. Bye. Forward to see. Looking forward to see you the next week. Bye.
Thank you, sir.